Everybody, welcome back with the Purplatypus is the name, and that's right, it's finally to talk about OCHETTE. Now, the reason I put off this video for so long is because I don't consider myself an OCHETTE expert, and I wanted to give good advice. And honestly, I haven't played with her that much. However, now that I've 100% the game, I definitely have more experience with her now than I did back when I was still trying to get to that point. Really quick before we jump into it though, I want to say thank you to Bean from the Octopath Traveler Discord. I had saved over my save with my Hikari solo run, and so I did not have my save data, so they sent me their completed save data, so this is theirs. So this isn't really my save, but it's okay, that's fine. Anyway, let's go and talk about OCHETTE. We're gonna get into, I think we're gonna address the elephant in the room, and I'm not talking about her pet. She has the ability to provoke. It's like a bad version of Hikari's ability because you can only attack with monsters, but it's not like good. You're right, it's not that good. Yeah, it's just worse than Hikari's basically everywhere, every way. I don't know the situations where this is better. Maybe there's certain enemies that are easier to provoke than challenge. Not sure. But friend, this is kind of nice, you know. It does use a resource, but you can get some pretty powerful followers. Like if we kind of look who's following us here. We've got some, like, we've got Allrend, we've got some dude that gives you % off purchases, and we also got Bendelum the Reaper. Obviously going to be a really powerful character, so really cool stuff here. You can do a lot with that. It's just, it's not unique. Capture / prepare, and the ability to basically capture and provoke beasts in combat. This is the elephant in the room in the sense where I don't know all the best beasts. Now, we could take a look. This ability is insanely strong, but it's not a damaging ability. Early game, it kind of is a damaging ability, but it completely falls off damage-wise without using glitches. With a glitch, it could be okay damage-wise. But for the most part, it's actually going to be used as support. Such as the Battle-Worn Shark. I know this ability, this does like 1,000 damage, which is fine. But then after you do the 1,000 damage, oh, it also does dagger attacks, actually. So that's kind of good. So if they're weak to daggers, it's extra good. But it also heals you, gives you HP, SP, and BP. So this is like a very powerful attack, especially with the glitches. But other than that, for the most part, I would use these, have 1 or 2 really good support skills, but they're really for shield breaking, in my opinion, especially after you complete her story. We'll get into it a bit more, but this isn't going to be a best animal guide. But if you take a look at this right here, the Chubby Kate, King Octopuff, Scourge of the Sea, Battle-Worn Shark, Black Panther, and the Ancient Frog King II are probably some of the best ones you're going to find, but it'll change depending on the situation. So incredibly powerful skill, and it places her easily as the best shield breaker in the game if you know the fight you're going into. Sorry, Temenos, even you cannot keep up with OCHETTE, and honestly, it's not even close. She's like 5 times better at breaking shields than him, and that's like not even like an exaggeration. That's like quite literal. So let's take a look at the base job here. So Hunter, I actually think, is one of the better jobs. Where is it at? I don't even remember what she looks like. Dancer, merchant, scholar, thief, apothecary, none. That's it is. I'm a really big fan of it in general. Like Thunderbird's obviously terrible. I feel like they nerfed a lot of these magics too much, or at least let them synergize with like advanced magic, right? Like the fact that these are just bad abilities and they're always bad abilities, like, I don't know. It feels like it's here for coverage, but like I think I may have literally never have cast Thunderbird, and I may have only cast Ember on Particio like once or twice on very specific foes. But also if you just get a guy that does elemental damage, you're not using this for damage, you're using this for shield breaking, and you can just get a provoke guy that does this as well, which doesn't cost SP. So this is just like a bad skill, especially on that. But I'm talking too much about the bad stuff. The good stuff here: Precise Shot, very good ability for breaking shields on multiple things. It's not that strong, and it ends up getting outclassed later, but it's such a good early game ability. It feels cool, it looks cool, and again, it's just good at breaking shields if they're weak to bow. Cleaving Blow, I think this is good all the way up until just about to the late game. A lot of bosses have really powerful effects, like you can get imbued weapons or just increase your physical attack, increase your physical defense. Lots of really cool, interesting buffs you can get with Cleaving Blow. I think that overall it's just a very good ability. Powerful, but it does fall off. Mercy Strike, I don't think this is really worth it. You have to really want to capture something. I mean, maybe it's fine, but usually if you just do a full BP, it's not hard to capture anything, and you have a default 25%. Take aim, critical rate accuracy of all allies. This could be okay. If you're not running Inventor, take aim is suddenly way better. But if you have Inventor, the critical scope kind of makes his ability bad. Leg hold trap, great. Especially against single bosses, great ability. Abating orb, this is something that I don't think I've ever used, but it's something I always want to have just in case. The things it doesn't remove, like it doesn't remove the super bosses, like immune to damage thing. It does remove a lot of stuff, but there are things that are immune to being removed, which it doesn't say that. And it says augmenting effects, not like stat boosts. So I assumed it could have hit anything, but this is still good to have, and it'll be nice in some situations. The divine skill, one of the weaker ones. It's okay damage wise, it's okay for breaking shields, but there's just like more powerful things you could be doing with 3 BP than this ability. Now, as for her unique skills, Indomitable Beast, I would probably almost never use. If you were going to use this, you would probably just be using Cassie's Remedy instead, because it's just better for the most part in almost all situations. And it's just not that good. But you could do this with the Arcanist, I think, right? And then instead of raising your physical attack, evasion, and speed, you raise your party's physical attack, evasion, and speed. I just don't value this that highly. I think it's fine. It's fine. But you don't want her to spend her turn buffing herself so then she can attack. You want someone else buffing her if you want her to attack, because you're missing a turn of damage to do this. So that's actually a damage decrease over the course of probably 1 or 2 turns. It probably doesn't double your damage. So you probably have to use this for all 3 turns for this to actually deal any damage. And at that point, I don't think it's that good. Provoke Beasts. This ability is fucking busted, bro. This ability is, we're going to talk more about Provoke Beast a little bit later in the video in general, but this is the shield breaking king. Select 3 monsters and provoke them in order. It can go up to 6 times. I mean, you can't find shit that this doesn't break. You can always find a beast for the job. This is probably one of the most powerful abilities in the game. I know I say that a lot. There's a lot of powerful abilities. This is definitely the best shield breaking ability in the game. I'll say that. And being able to break a lot of shields makes fights way easier and way faster as well, especially when you're going up against bosses. So this is insane. Actually kind of broken, I would say. And there's a glitch involved. We'll go over the glitch, why you shouldn't use it. I don't care if you use it, honestly, but we are gonna go over that. We'll do the Provoke Beast a little bit later, because I feel like that's the largest defining thing about everything she does, and I want to give you a reason to do other stuff first. So we'll just start at the warrior here. Warrior's reasonable, right? You get a little bit of stats. It's actually a pretty decent amount of stats. And she's already a good physical attacker. This gives her access to both swords and spears. So now she's using what, swords, spears, axes, and bows. So she has it makes her like a mini arms master. You've got pretty powerful attacks with all of them. Nothing insane. It's okay. I think Ochette is not best served as a damage dealer. I think she's best served as a support. However, she has good base stats and she could easily be a damage dealer. The reason I think she's not the best as a damage dealer is that Hikari has better damaging skills from his challenge skills thing. Oswald can't do anything else really. Like, he could do okay stuff. And then she just has better support. She's better at breaking shields. So she's going to be dealing damage, but the damage of the monsters aren't going to scale. They're going to be kind of stagnant over the course of the game. Like, I don't think they go up with your stats at all, actually. So you're not really going to be focusing damage on her for the most part, because you're mostly going to be using provoke, in my opinion. And when you're provoking, your damage stat doesn't matter. But it's still, if you want to take her a more physical approach, warrior is very reasonable. I would still err on the side of things like cleric, more supporty things. That way, like, if you have her so she's good at breaking shields, you could then make it so when the shields are broken, she's all about using BP to deal heavy damage, to kind of be your backup damage dealer, right? Support / damage dealer is one of the roles I like for having bosses, but I kind of prefer her even more supporty. Like, Alfric's Blessing is just good enough. Like, this having Alfric's Blessing basically makes you the best damage dealer in the game, in a sense. Why? Because now with one of her turns, she can give Hikari 3 bonus turns, right? Or she can give your main damage dealer 3 bonus turns on a turn where an enemy's broken. you use this, your guy gets another turn at the end. So instead of her having to fulfill the damage role as well, she could just be a full-on support and then give your strongest character a next return. So she's not even missing a turn, and she's actually generating 2 positive turns over that. So I think her just going cleric is just the better way to go. Cleric, I think she's very good with. I think everyone's good with cleric because it's a very powerful class. Alfric's Blessing is good. Magical Staff is fine, but I really just like the divine skill. The ability to revive and heal wounds and, you know, be able to use advanced magic and revive everybody and heal everybody is good as well. But cleric is going to be one of the 3 I'm going to recommend, probably the highest. Dancer, we all know. So I've kind of changed my mind about Dancer. Dancer is probably the worst class in the game. However, it's also pretty much not at all the worst class in the game because of Seliga's, whatever. Celti's Seduction is such a good divine skill. It's so good, and it can break the game in so many ways. But I do think that that alone is not stronger. I still don't think it's stronger than the cleric divine skill. It does break the game in different ways, but I think having extra turns is overall more powerful. But you always want a dancer on your team specifically for that skill, I think. Even like just that, having a dancer and having an arcanist, like, just lets you do some crazy stuff. Lets you break the game in all kinds of ways. Merchant, it's crazy how much stronger these base classes are in my mind now that I know how to play the game better. How strong some of them are, how weak some of them are. Merchant's fantastic. Hired help is, I don't think you need it as much on her. This kind of lets her be a damage dealer, a healer, and support all in one, right? Because you could use her base class to break shields by provoking beasts, and then hired help, like once you get the assassins, I mean, that's pretty late game, but you can still use hired help or mercenaries to deal pretty good damage. And if you have, you can also recover everyone's SP. You can also increase their elemental attack. You can also raise everyone's defense. You can also lower the enemy's physical defense and physical attack. So this gives hired help has a lot going on in it. And if for some reason you want to donate BP, you have it. You have rest to recover your own stuff. Like, it's just a powerful support class in general. So I think it's reasonable. I still think cleric is better, but I do think that this is a very reasonable second class. Scholar, I just don't see the point. It's the scholars are pretty weak. Scholar has some potential, but Oswald's a good scholar because he could target single target things. And he's also a good scholar because he gets 1 true magic, which is pretty powerful. Outside of that, I would usually go having a cleric because I like the cleric magic spell more. Like Temenos also has like his passive really powerful skills. He has like the blow everything up. But I mean, scholars aren't like terrible, but without the ability to focus it on a single target, the damage capabilities is pretty low, and OCHETTE has better things to do than being an average scholar, especially with things like Stroke of Genius basically overlapping with her already average special ability. Thief, I think Thief is actually a surprisingly good choice here because I mean, you could get a provoke creature that does everything Thief does but better. Besides, maybe a little bit of damage. Like, it's nice to have armor corrosive, but I'm sure there's like a frog that has like decrease enemies armor, right? So there's always that kind of stuff that is available in the pets already. So you probably don't need this at all. Shackle Foe, no. Swift Step, no. Aber's Reckoning's pretty good. This could allow her to pretty easily hit like 50,000 damage if you have deal more damage and you only have to attack with her once every few turns. I still think it's like a weaker approach than going with the cleric and giving Hikari an additional turn who can, limb from limb to do way more damage in general, and he could do it to target all foes if you've already set it up and are building on them. But yeah, Thief's not that good. Apothecary, insanely powerful. I highly recommend Apothecary on her, mostly because you have the Doter's Charity. Doter's Charity, incredibly powerful. On the turns where you're not trying to deal damage, you could either make it so you cast the Charity on someone, and now you have these stupid Raspberry Pi items or whatever that gives everyone full HP, full SP, full BP, full latent gauge, and it affects everybody. So just honestly incredibly powerful. Poison Axe and stuff, like, you're not really care about it. It's always nice to have a Rehabilitate, especially if you have a dancer on the team. Rehabilitate is a very nice ability to have in certain situations because enemies really fuck you up with a lot of that stuff. And sometimes rehabilitate doesn't help, but for the most part, it's pretty good. And healing touch is pretty nice as well. But again, like in RPGs, even though I give a lot of weight to abilities like healing touch, because it can heal and it can revive, that's cool. Like abilities that can be easily replaced with a single item is less good for me, right? You just buy some healing olives and you have healing touch on every character in the game, right? It's not actually like a good, like it doesn't cost money, but you're spending SP or money, you know, and they're not that expensive. You don't need to use it that much. So usually I would just err on like those abilities aren't that good. I know that's probably hasn't been consistent with a lot of this stuff, but like the things that I highly value, right, that I've been talking about, like the divine skills, give someone an extra turn, revive and heal the entire party, right? That's way more rare. Making items, you know, affect everybody. That's something that an item just can't do. So I think those skills that are irreplaceable are definitely better. Rehabilitate, right? You could do things that heal things, but that prevent them in the first place is much stronger. Conjurer, I think she could do a pretty good job as a conjurer. I don't see why not. I like Rite of the Sun. You've heard me talk about that before. All the conjure stuff is like, it feels pretty weak to me, but I still kind of like it, you know? I don't think it's bad. It just like, you want to be on a more magic focused team then. This is what's weird, right? So like you want to be on a more magic focused team because the conjure damage does damage based off of your elemental attack of the character attacking. But if you're an elemental based team, you don't want to be using physical attacks. You want to be using elemental attacks. So you kind of need to have like a really strong physical and elemental attack for this to be good. And the reason why I say that, because typically you could use this to break an additional shield with every attack while doing a little bit of damage. She already breaks shields better than anyone else in the game. This is not helping her break shields. This is for use maybe like to help. It's mostly going to be a damage ability and Rite of the Sun. Arcanist, yeah, you could do the Arcanist ability to give everyone the Indomitable Beast. Not insanely good. Arcanist is powerful, but I don't really think that she has an exceptionally good reason to go for it. Unless you don't have an Arcanist on the team, right? Then it's nice to have Reflective Barrier. It's nice to have Seal of Eternity. It's nice to have some of this stuff, but maybe Hex is like pretty nice too, but it's not like she's extra good at it. Arms Master, kind of the same issue as the Warrior. It's still good. It's very powerful. You could do it. You could easily beat the game with OCHETTE Arms Master carrying it. I just think that it's not fundamentally synergistic with her most powerful part of her kit, which is provoking beasts to break shields and support the team in all kinds of powerful ways. Inventor's pretty good actually, because you're going to spend a lot of times, again, I'm going to say provoke beasts 1,000 times, because you're going to spend a lot of turns probably doing that. If you're going to spend a lot of turns doing that, these abilities, you only get to use them like once a battle unless you repair them or whatever, but that usually doesn't happen, I feel like. So having something powerful to do, having a critical scope is nice, springy boots is nice, the bomb bottle can be nice, we probably want to use it. Tin horns is very good, hastening hammer is whatever. It's good damage, but having the coil, the tin horn, the critical scope, the springy boots, that's all good stuff to have on off turns where you don't need to break shields. So this helps boost damage just in general. And the critical scope actually might increase the damage more than the cleric does, because the cleric gives someone an extra turn, but critical scope makes them deal so much more damage. And you could always have a different cleric on your team as well. So I think she makes a great inventor. So my top are going to be cleric, merchant, no, it's going to be, sorry, cleric, apothecary, and inventor, I think are the three that she's going to be best with. If you're determined to go physical, then it's going to be an arms master and warrior, obviously, but I don't really think she benefits from it that much. I do think that she has a potential to be an okay thief just because of armor corrosive, but again, I think you could just do better stuff in general without really worrying about it. So that's that. As far as the support skills, like deal more damage is decent. Fruits of labor is always good for saving. What is this? Arms when exploiting an enemy's weak point. I'm sure that's fine. What's like really good with her? If you're gonna go the conjurer, equal might's obviously way better. Upon taking damage, gain an amount. You know what? I actually think she's really good with here. I think she's really good with Salt the Wound. The equipping character has a 50% chance of acting twice when breaking a foe. This will not trigger in succession, whatever. So if you break a foe and then do it again in the same turn, I guess you don't get it for sure. But 50% is not 100%, which sucks. But She's really good at breaking shit, especially if you're fighting like 4 foes at the same time or something, like in a boss fight. Some of these super game late boss fights will have multiple enemies. This is really good because you can break them all in the same turn, and you're almost guaranteed then an additional turn. And that's every other turn, right? You break them, then they're broken, then they come back, and then you break them, and then you get another turn. So very powerful with Salt the Wound, I would say. Its ability I didn't like, but I like it on Ochette a lot because she's so for me, she's consistently breaking the foes. But you have, this is assume we'll get into it. It's assuming you have the right stuff for the job. Let's take a look here. No. I mean, full power is really good if you're doing the glitch, but you can always go heal it. The show goes on because she's going to be defensive. I think that's pretty good. And then, just having something like Rise Again. I like having stuff like this, like Rise Again and Hang Tough. Just so you can always like, oh, step ahead. Yeah, step ahead always, and then Rise Again. And just so she can stay alive, and especially if she's a Conjurer again, just bring everyone back alive. So, why do I keep talking about this Provoke skill and the glitch? So, the Provoke skill is pretty fucking insane. Can I, let's see if I can survive with... She's level 95. She should be fine. We also got the Slayer here. Oh, I have my equipment on. That's what... There we go. So let's get into a fight. I'm going to show you the glitch, and then we will... Then we'll kind of talk about why she's so strong as well. This is perfect, right? So why is she so strong, right? You see that these guys have 3, 3, and 4 shields, so... Let's go ahead and first we'll do a hunter skill. We're going to provoke beast. We are going to use ancient frog, ancient frog, ancient frog, ancient frog. All right, so we're using this 4 times, and it goes up to 6. 1, 2, 3. They're already broken. 4. Was that 5? It might have been 5. But the point is, like, she could break easily up to 12 shields in a turn. Do we get our extra turn? Looks like it. And again, her damage is actually like not that good. These really fall off later, but they're still like, they look really cool, and they are cool. They're already dead. All right, go ahead and attack me. So let's go ahead and so what's the I don't want to do the glitch on this guy because he might. Let's get Bedlam out here. Damn, good job, bro.
I'm hungry.
I'm stronger still, but that was still cool. All right, so that's why she has that AoE attack, right? It hits AoE axe twice. She could do that 6 times. That's 12 shields AoE if they're weak to axe, right? But so you just got to find the right thing that hits twice for the element you need, basically. Let's go ahead and give her this. Yes. Don't put me to sleep, please. All right, so the glitch, the insanely overpowered glitch, which makes Ochette an S+ insanely overpowered character. So we take a look here, right? We have can only be used once per battle, can only be used once per battle, once per battle, once per battle. All right, so these things are very powerful effects that can only be used once per battle, and you have to use full BP to use them, right? But if you go full BP and you do your provoke beast, where it's let you select 6 beasts, you see that they disappear, right? You can no longer use the once per battle guys. But if you activate your latent power, you end your latent power, you go to beast lore, go to provoke, they come back. And it doesn't say that it's going to work anymore, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at this. 1 gets all the BP back. Also, she could do this ability 6 times because everyone full healing, full BP every single turn. That always breaks multiple shields. You bring in the beast. You bring in the Terra. You do all this, right? No problem. You could do. I'm actually wondering how many shields. You want to find out how many shields the Scourge of the Sea breaks? Also, let's go grab this item over here because it's bugging me. Large Soulstone, Herb of Healing. Wow, man, worth it. Late game item confirmed. Thought you 100% of the game plat. Well, I didn't get all the items, all right? I'll be honest.
My prey awaits.
I didn't get all the items, all right? I'm sorry.
That's the stuff.
All right, I want to see how many shields the Scourge of the Sea breaks. Let's go and speed up for a second, though. Yep. Yep. Good job.
Wahoo! I'm starving!
It does it do AoE? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 3, and 4 shields. It just randomly breaks. Does it break 4 shields on someone? Or does it always break all their stuff? Oh my, holy Christ. Okay, so she can break 24 shields on a single foe. No problem. Go ahead and there we go. Good job. So that's why it's so powerful. It is a glitch, but it does let you completely break the game with the Ochette. So if you want to do that, you can. I don't care if you do it, but I don't think you're going to get the best experience of the game overall. Because it's more fun to do fun team builds, but sometimes, you know, you're fighting a super boss, you're like, you know what? Fuck this guy. And then you just kill a super boss, you know? What do you give me? I don't want you to come with me. But yeah, that's going to basically be the Ochette thing. So the good pets to look for are going to be the ones that hit multiple of a weapon type, especially AoE, and then to use that many, many, many times. You can also use all these things more than once in a turn. But yeah, it's insanely powerful. I mean, even at the worst case scenario, you do provoke a beast 6 times, right? Provoke beast 6 times. You use this, your main person, and it's guaranteed to hit a weakness if they have a magic weakness, a magic, or a physical, 6 times, right? It'll be on one foe. If there's more than one foe, it might go around. But even that's the absolute worst fail state that you could have. If you even have one thing, like the Ancient Frog King, you know, spoiler for the super boss, spoiler, the first phase, they're all weak to axe. So this is fucking insane, right? You just break everything on the first turn, no problem. And there's other things like that. So overall, broken character, very, very, very powerful. I definitely have more respect for her than I did before as a shield breaker. Also, to generalize as a support, you kind of want her to have her around. Now, sometimes you don't need to break that many shields. If you don't need to break a fuck ton of shields, I think she drops a lot in power level if you're not using her glitch. And then you'd rather have the casties and stuff in the party instead. But overall, there's nothing Ochette does badly. She does everything well. But she is the queen and king of shield breaking. Much love for Platypus's Purplatypus. I'll see you next time. Oh, in summary, if you want to watch just the end of this video, the jobs that I like with Ochette, again, I'm going to tell you the what, not the why. I like her as an inventor, I like her as a cleric, and I like her as an apothecary. That is it for today. Much love. See you guys in the next one. Peace.